everybody, welcome or welcome back. My name is Monique and welcome to Medora Budgets. I'd like to thank anybody who's liked or commented on any of my videos, and especially those that have chosen to subscribe to my channel. Excuse me. Okay, let me, I got a rhythm. I truly started this as a way to hold myself accountable. But I understand, recognize, and appreciate the community as a whole. If you're rocking with me on this journey, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't made up your mind yet, sit with me for a spell. At the end of this video, if it's content you find valuable or enjoyable, please feel free to subscribe. It's myself and Sweets, married with a whole bunch of kids, trying to figure out our future family and finances so the decisions we make now won't negatively impact us in the future. Today is, come on now, Monday, July the 7th, and you will see this video on Tuesday, July the 8th. We are here to do a Transfer Tuesday, my new version of a Transfer Tuesday. So let's get it. Let's go. All right. We are working on the Chase Freedom card as our next debt. I did not have debt necessarily for the Chase Freedom card in the fact that this card is my everyday use card that I have. But what I am trying to do is get down to a zero account balance or card balance versus just having a zero statement balance. And we talked about this before. Having a statement balance of zero just means that I cover all of the necessary costs that were charged during the statement cycle so that I don't have any interest that I am accruing. And I did not have any interest that I've had to pay ever on this card. So I always take care of the statement balance. But what I am trying to do now is to get the card actually to a zero balance overall. And so we'll see if we can get that started or get that done. So this is going to cover the week of July the 1st through July the 7th. I've gone in, I've got all of my information listed here, and I was tracking it while I was out of town. I was tracking it in my paper planner. I did download some digital copies of some finance pages, and I've started to use those. And we've talked about this in the past, so I won't go through them all again. But I did document here all of the money that I have spent, whether it was in the Chase Freedom card, my Chase checking account, bills account, it doesn't really matter. All of them get documented here in the expense tracker. And then I document over here on the side whether or not I am pulling money from other places in order to cover those costs. So you'll see here that on 7/3 I went to Target. Yes, I went to Target. Sorry, y'all. For something for Bean, and it was $70.90. And I had that documented here as well. Bean stuff, you see that there for $70.90, but it came from his sinking fund. So I'm not using variable expense money to cover that cost. It is money that I pulled from a sinking fund for that. Likewise, here this SFYT is sinking fund for YouTube. It's for my 1K giveaway. So I did have two $25 gifts that I offered to individuals, and the winners were Budget Life with Paula and Saving Stuff with Stephanie. They both won. They already got their change. They hit me off on Instagram, and we took care of it. So all of that is complete, but I did pull from my YouTube sinking fund in order to cover those costs as well. So I documented everything there because I don't take my iPad with me. And remember, we talked about that. I do use my paper planner expense tracker so that I can denote everything. And then I came back here and added everything in. All you see here are those items that actually came out of my Chase Freedom credit card. So for example, the purchases, or not the purchases, the Cash App that I sent to Stephanie and to Paula, that all came from my Chase checking account. I just transfer the money over there, and I do Cash App from there. I don't do Cash App from my credit card. So because of that, you won't see it here, because I'm using this as a way to take care of the credit card, but I do have it here. So when I get ready to finalize my numbers for all of the categories that were touched, regardless of the account that money came from, I will look here for that information. But this is just going to have those charge amounts that I had tied to the credit card. So when I started the week on July the 1st, I had $2,670.98, and I made a payment of $1,091 1,407 to that, and that brought me down to 1,579.91. And then from there, I've documented all of the different charges that hit that credit card, and then I'm keeping over here a running tab out of all that money to see what my total is. And then over on the left side is where I document if I actually pull some money. I did note that there is one bill, my Paramount, and I am going to go in. I wrote myself a note to make sure I go in and change this over. I thought I did already. Paramount Plus is a bill. That bill came out for $12.99, and that left me with a total of $1,995.70 at that point. That was the running total for the credit card, and then I did get some groceries since I came home. With this Paramount, though, that money is in my bills account, and that's where I have it allocated in YNAB, where it was coming from. So I actually went in and already facilitated a transfer from the bills account over to my Chase checking account. That's the account. Chase checking is what I use to pay Chase Freedom. And so I've already facilitated a transfer there for $12.99, and that money was sent over. I thought about doing $13, and then I realized I didn't want that headache. You know, if you're dealing with YNAB or dealing with your budget, I am learning that cents matter. CENTS. Yes, the cents matter. Well, SENSE matters too. You gotta have some sense when you're dealing with YNAB. So you gotta be worried about the cents, and you gotta have some sense when you're dealing with your budget overall. But I was always a rounder upper, right? So I would round, or rounder downer. So I would round down for my check, round my paycheck, round up for my expenses. Would always end up with a buffer. YNAB doesn't like the rounding. It doesn't like the rounding, because when these costs actually hit and show, they're going to show as an exact amount from YNAB loaded into that application, which we're going to look at in a minute. And they don't like, it doesn't like rounding in that way. I've learned how to add my change to these so that I don't have that issue. All right, so these are all of the expenses. Not too bad for the week from 7/1 through 7/7. Yeah, I do have some additional expenses that probably haven't cleared. One pretty large one for Amazon, like $200 and something, and we'll talk about that later. But for right now, this is where we are. Let me add all of these together. Stick this over out of the way. Let's see. Let's turn this around, and I'm going to go in and add these together and see where we are. All right. I'm going to speed up. All right, it kept going up. Okay, there you go. So my total that I should look to transfer over to the card to pay on the card is going to be $511.80. All right, so that is what I should be working with. Now we're going to go over to YNAB. We're going to go to all. And we're going to go to credit card payments. So you'll notice here it shows credit card payment should be $514.46 instead of the $511 that I have. And I think that's because I went to Taco Bell. Corinne wanted some nacho fries, and they were $2 and some change. So let's do minus 514.46. Yep, 266. And I bet you, let's go to transactions. Taco Bell, yep, see that? Taco Bell, 266, and that was today, 7/7. Taco Bell, dining out, 266, and I do not have that here. So that's the difference. So I'm going to go ahead and add it because I want to make sure that I send over the right amount. Alrighty. So YNAB is working for me, y'all. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I've been doing this for about 3 months, and I think this is the first time where I'm actually right on, dead on with the amount that I'm supposed to pay versus the amount that I reconciled in my numbers. So that's good. I feel good about that. All right. So that is the amount that I am going to want to pay. I'm going to look and see if I can make an overall payment of about $600 on this account so that I can pay a little bit extra on there. And we'll see. So I'm going to pause you now, and I'm going to go over to my Chase account, and let's see what I've got over there. Alrighty, so I am here now, and I'm going to, so it shows my current balance. I don't know how difficult that is for you guys to see. It shows my current balance is $1,909.89. It says all that's remaining to pay on my statement balance is $421.53. We've already talked about the fact that I'm gonna make a payment of at least $514.46. I have checked the things out, and I feel comfortable making a $600 payment. So the way that I need to do it is going to be a little different. I'm going to make the $514.46. That way it registers with YNAB as a separate transaction. It will match up the amount that it says that I am supposed to pay right now that I owe, and then everything will be hunky-dory with that. And then I'll go back in and I'll make the other payment for the remaining amount that I want to pay. That is done. So that payment transaction has registered. We'll close that. All right, and we are good. And I got my little notification. Now we're going to subtract that minus 600 equals, so I need to pay another $85.54. I'm going to go in and hit pay card. It says that I've already scheduled a payment. I know. And I'm going to go in and do another amount, and I'm going to do it for $85.54. And that will then total the $600 that I want. I'm going to pay that $85.54. Let's hit next. We're going to have that come out of my checking account. Shows the $85.54 for a payment. I want to make that payment. Let's pay it, and confirmation is done, and that has been paid, so I can close that off. All right, so both of those payments have been made. So I have now paid a total of $600 on the card. So now let's go in. This video is way longer than you expected. All right, so now we're going to go in, and here I'm going to say alrighty, and I'm going to turn that green to show that it is a payment that has been made. Let's style that and turn that green too. And then let's subtract. So 2094.37 minus 600 equals $1,494.37. $494.37. All right, so I started this week, this pay week, at $2,670.98, and now I'm ending it at $1,494.37. That's pretty good progress for me. Yay. All right, this video is way longer than I thought, but thank you. It's all good. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me, and that is it. All right, thanks everybody for your time. You guys have a good one.